Hello, I am Cheri Hardman, host of Diary of an Ex-Ho, and I am doing a naked reaction to episode 5 with Laura Lyons. This is our most viewed episode. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you what I think about what she said or what I was thinking at the moment. All right, ready? Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'm your ex-ho, and today's guest is Laura Lyons. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. It's been nice that we've been able to work together a little bit lately.
Yeah, that has been great.
Doing the disabled list shows because I don't usually get to see you that much.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Yeah. When you are a Tacoma comedian like I am, a lot of times you don't get up to Seattle and see the other Seattle comedians. So when I do get put on Seattle shows, I'm really excited to see the people like Laura that I like that I just don't get to see as often. So we're just going to talk about some topics about sex, and then we'll just see where this goes. I kind of, told you that I kind of have an angle, but we'll see what happens. All right.
Cool.
See what we end up with. So are your parents together?
Yes. Both my parents are Catholic and they have been married for 25 plus years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they like show affection between each other?
No.
Okay.
No,
So
absolutely.
would you say it was like a repressed kind of a upbringing or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you never like got that feeling like your parents were sexual creatures?
No, and not only that, it was like they weren't very affectionate toward us either. So like no hugging, like no kissing, nothing like that. It was very like yes, we are a family unit and I know they love me and like I love them, but there was no physical communication of that.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna like jump to, present day kind of stuff. How do you think that affected you throughout your life?
I definitely think I was repressed. I remember so the first time I did have sex, I actually uh I thought I was going to hell because of that. And so, a little bit about like some of the depression issues I have. And so, right after I had sex for the first time was the first time I attempted suicide, even because I'm like, well, going to hell anyway, because I had sex. So, but after that, like,
First of all, can I say there's just so many people that grew up like that in religion, myself included, that spent their days and years thinking they're going to hell or trying not to go to hell. And wow, it's really a kind of a heavy burden.
yeah, I do think it kind of made me realize that Catholicism and repressed sexuality is kind of bullshit and can do a lot more harm than good. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's interesting because I grew up in a religious household. We weren't Catholic, but we were like Holy Roller Pentecostals.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I mean, still, you got the you're going to hell, and you got a lot of guilt or whatever surrounding it. That messes with so many people, really does.
Yeah.
It does. So when do you remember like when was your first like sexual awakening? Like the first time you really felt like, hey, wait, something's going on here. Um,
Um, I guess it depends what you mean by sexual awakening. I guess I'm still not sure what that means.
I guess it could go a couple of ways. Like that maybe the first time that you kind of felt, I see it as like the first time that you really realized that there was something going on, i.e., sex, and you were just now realizing like Oh, because see, I remember back in the day, like thinking Donny Osmond was cute and all that kind of stuff, Michael Jackson. I'm in that age. But it was when I saw David Cassidy that I realized, ooh, like I want to do stuff with him, even though I didn't really know what the stuff was.
So I
For
remember
me,
my like first attraction to anyone was in kindergarten. We had like this buddy system where like the eighth graders would like hang out with the kindergartners sometimes, and I kept thinking to myself, oh, I really hope I get a pretty one. Like and she was a very attractive person, and so that was the first time I realized I was attracted to women.
mhm.
um and then probably like maybe, I don't know, I guess that was probably it. Maybe when I read Twilight, like in sixth or seventh grade, and I was like, oh, this is hot, and I feel something about it. So yeah.
So how would you uh, categorize yourself sexually if you had to be in a category?
I feel like I'm pansexual. I've switched a lot. I thought I was bisexual and that didn't feel right. And then I thought I was a lesbian, and then I learned what pansexuality was. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, 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 that's what I
Okay.
am.
So why don't you explain pansexual?
That's the one that's focused on like hearts, not parts. It's I feel like it's more inclusive than bisexuality. Like that was what I was identifying with, but it didn't sit with me right. Just because like even as a high schooler, I was like, gender is complicated, and I
Right.
don't like the whole binary mindset of bisexuality. So
Mm,
it's just really anyone you it's anyone, like
right.
very
Right.
inclusive.
Okay, I get it. You just made that make more sense to me than it ever has. So
Oh, really? Excellent. I'm so
yeah,
glad.
yeah. So somebody else is gonna learn that too. Uh, how's your body image?
Bad. Just this is the heaviest I've
Can I just say that was the cutest giggle ever? I almost want to rewind it. Let's do it again.
about it. So yeah.
So how would you uh, categorize yourself sexually if you had to be in a category?
I'm pansexual. I've really anyone you it's anyone, like
Right.
very
Right.
inclusive.
Okay, I get it. Almost that you just made that make more sense to me than it ever has. So
Oh, really? Excellent. I'm so
yeah,
glad.
yeah. So somebody else is gonna learn that too. Uh, how's your body image?
Bad. Just this is the heaviest I've ever been, and it's really hard for me. In high school, I was bulimic, and I was able to lose a lot of weight senior year between bulimia and anorexia. Uh, but I have gained that back now, but I'm trying to lose it in a healthy way. There's still definitely some of those bulimic tendencies though. So, and
Mm,
that does have a lot to do with, like, not just like with the body image, but just like self-esteem too. And like, I don't know, just like the sense of control, I think too. So like I've struggled with like drugs and alcohol in the past, and
mm.
that I haven't done anything in a while, but I do feel like some like self-harm, including like bulimia, is replacing that a little bit. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard when you have issues with food because with alcohol, you can just not touch it, and drugs, you can just not touch it. But food, you still got to touch it. So um, it makes it more difficult because it is the thing that you need to live. But when it's also the thing that causes you problems, it's tricky. Do you find that it affect like okay, so your body image affects how you feel about yourself on it. Do you think that does it affect you directly in the bedroom or just generally about how you feel about yourself or
I
both?
prefer the lights off. I don't want people to see me, but
Hmm. I always felt like I felt fat all day long, but whenever I was having sex, I felt skinny.
Really?
Used to be, not anymore. I'm old now, so it's just shit all the time. But um, what is your definition? Can I also say that doing this show like this naked was my husband's idea? So at least somebody wants to see me naked, right? And I wish my dogs would shut the hell up. What is your definition of amazing sex?
Where okay, one, we both finished. Super important for that to be a thing.
Mm.
Uh, I think the best sex is like super rough, but with also very crystal clear boundaries in place because you don't want anyone to feel like weird after that. Oh my gosh, my watch doesn't understand. Sorry if you heard
My dog doesn't either, so it's okay.
that. But yeah, like uh yeah, super rough, but you have to have that conversation beforehand, like where not to touch, like what is the safe word, like what do you need after? And when all those steps are taken, that's absolutely the best sex.
Okay, so do you feel like you can have that with someone you've like kind of just met, or do you feel like there has to be more of a relationship for that to happen?
Right. I think it has to be more of a relationship. Like I do end up like having sex with people who I am friends with or friends first. Uh and I do think that goes to some of that like pansexuality. But also just like, yeah, just feeling like safe and like I can trust those people.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right. Do you look at porn?
Absolutely.
What's your
Probably
favorite? What's your go-to category?
uh probably probably like double penetration, like rough stuff. Like I like gay porn a lot. um the other thing I've been getting into though is erotica. I haven't watched porn as much recently because I found this great website called like Lit Erotica, and it's sometimes more fun to read it because then you
Right,
can like imagine your own situations
right.
and stuff and make it cooler.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I used to read a lot of erotica when I was younger, just because we didn't have porn readily available, and I always dug it. It was, but that was what we had, you know. That was it. Um, so, do you remember like any mainstream movies having like a scene that you found particularly hot?
Yeah, so basically the movie Grease I couldn't watch because I was so ashamed of how it made me feel. Um but just I don't know, just like that kind of like bad boy, like after that like sweet innocent girl, like that was extremely hot to me. But I couldn't like yeah, dude. Like I think the first time my parents tried to have me watch it was
This really surprised me. I don't know why, because I never thought of Grease as like a sexual movie, even though like I was madly in love with John Travolta. So, um, but now that she brings all this up, then I get it. You know,
like I was like in fifth or sixth grade, and even then I was like, I can't, like I don't feel good.
isn't that funny that you can, like, I don't know, like if someone asked me my porn category, I don't really like to say because it's something that I would not be interested in at all in real life.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how those things, some things that are just really twisted, just inexplicably do it for you, and you don't like. I don't even know why. That's kind of funny that you are feeling that way about that. Um,
Yeah, it is really weird.
okay, so uh, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. We had talked about this about because you had mentioned this, the difference between having sex, or what the difference is about having sex with fellow comedians, because I have never had sex with a comedian. Um,
I
and
feel
so I
like
just,
that's actually really impressive.
what?
That you
that.
haven't had sex with a comedian. I just feel like that
Well,
happens so regularly.
I've been married the whole time, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. But yeah, but still, I'm curious about it because I'm curious. So, what's your take on that whole situation?
At first I thought it was like the worst idea ever, but that was mostly because people were telling me it would be a bad idea. And to be fair, like when I was a year in, I probably should not have been having sex with comics, but that's also a lot on the dude, right? So like I got back into it when I was 21, and the guy,
Into it, you mean comedy?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
because like I was doing it in Iowa when I was like 18, 19, but I had to take a little bit of a break because of the drugs. So then when I got back into it at 21, uh, this guy in Denver was interested in me. And, he was a guy who performed at the club and had a lot of like standing in the community. And that probably shouldn't have happened because, like I was so new to the scene and like just trying to find.
You know what it reminds me of, the way she's describing it. Um, I don't know in other like recovery groups if they have this, but in Codependence Anonymous, there's something called 13th stepping, and that is being someone who has a lot of recovery, trying to date or whatever someone who's new, and it's like forbidden or frowned upon. So this is kind of, I think, the same type of thing she's talking about.
My footing and like getting into a relationship with such a power imbalance can make it really hard for the comic, usually the girl, to bounce back. And
Right, right.
yeah, so I would say that that is not a good dating situation for comics or like even fucking. Um, but after getting like my footing and established, like I found that the best people to like have sex with or being in a relationship with are comedians. And I think that's because I don't have to explain to them that I want to be out of the house every single night till 2 in the morning. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, and it's not because regular people, you tell them you do comedy and they say, oh, that's cool. I love that. You tell them upfront what that entails, going out every night, going to clubs, like all this different shit. They seem cool with it. And then, like 2, 3 months in, they're really not cool with it anymore. Then they want you, like, hey, we need to hang out. Hey, we have to go on a date. Hey, we have to do all this stuff. And it's like, this is everything to me. Like, this is the thing I like
Right,
more than anything.
right,
And yeah. And you just don't have to explain that to another comic because comics get it. So,
right. That makes sense to me. Because I
yeah.
even noticed, like, my husband is great. He gets all of it. But if I bring him to a show with me, he wants, when the show's over, we're supposed to leave. You know,
Yeah.
like, no. And so then I'll be like, just let me, I got to sell some merch. I got to schmooze a little bit.
Right, right,
And,
right.
and still, it's too long for him. So I'm not saying anything bad about my husband, but it's hard to, to run that when you've got like a civilian and you're bringing them to a show, and uh they get it, but they don't get it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. But it does make sense to kind of be established first, because otherwise people are gonna, there are a lot of shitty comedians out there that
Yeah.
are shitty people, and so you gotta figure the scene out first before you dip your toe in it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues just like with new women starting out is that they don't get that yet. And it's not their fault. They just don't know. Like they're new to the scene and it does feel good to have like all these like guys or gals, but mostly guys if we're being honest, like all over you and like giving you attention and you feel like special and pretty and cool and then it's like when that ends, then it's like, well, wait, what the fuck? Where's all this attention? Like, and people just end up leaving the scene.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Have you had any of those like turn badly on you? I mean, we don't need to like go into specifics,
Yeah,
but
I won't say names. I so like in this scene, no. Like I've been here for like 5 years now, and I have like dated comics and had sex with comics, and for the most part, it's been fine. Like I see them all at shows still, and it's like cordial and whatnot. There is one comic who, yeah, we're not talking, but we've also not talked in the past. It's been like up and down with this person, so I hope that works itself out. But that would be the only
Oh,
example
that's
of it
good.
going bad.
That-
Yeah, no, and
yeah,
I also think I'm really lucky for that to be the case, because there are just some situations that like explode, and it's not cool for anybody in the scene.
right.
Um, yeah, and there's stuff like that going on right now, and that sucks. Like it sucks when a breakup gets so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
haven't had that really.
Well, that's good. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any bucket list sex things, or have you done everything you wanted to do so far?
No, dude, I definitely want to do more. I want to be a part of an orgy. That would be so cool. Like, uh, yeah, I would like to have a three-way with two women because I have not done that. And when
Hang
I say
on.
two women, like
I'm gonna
two
go.
women.
I'm gonna go shut my dogs up, and then I'm gonna just
Okay.
have you re-say that. So I don't know if I should just say that question again. Let's just say the question again. Do you have any bucket? Okay. Do you have any sexual like bucket list items, or have you done everything you want to do?
No, yeah.
See, I'm such a dummy that I forget to like cut things out of the when I edit, you know. Someone told me like to put something over the screen, like a hold up a yellow thing so that when I started going through it, I see that, and then I know that means I need to edit there, but I always forget to do that too. So sorry you have to hear this question twice.
Yeah, there's definitely things I want to do. I want uh to definitely have an orgy at some point. Um and then I would like to have a three-way but with two women, like so like me and two other women, because I've never done that dynamic before, and I think that could be really fun. Um
Have you had uh, two males and a female?
yeah, I've had the
Uh,
other dynamics, two males and then two females plus a male.
right,
And
but
it's
not.
fine. Like I do like those. I was one time, speaking of sex, uh I was one time double penetrated. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're on episode 5, and this is the second time double penetration has come up. So if you're watching this and you're a fan of the show, do you know who the other person was that mentioned double penetration?
And we were
Yeah,
all sorry. We were all in like Narcotics Anonymous too. And so like that's like a thing, like when you first get clean, everyone's just really horny.
right.
And so it can be a little bit of like a hookup culture
I can
there.
understand that because it's a substitution, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's like, I got it. Like, I like to gamble, and I was actually
Oh,
sitting,
okay.
should I go to the casino or should I just get something to eat? It's just like addiction. Which one am I going to do today? So yeah, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. How often do you like to have sex? Does it matter?
Um, I guess it depends. When I take Adderall, it's like anytime I take Adderall, it's got to happen that day. But if I don't, then I'm cool without it. It's like a lot of work. Uh, so a lot of times I'd much rather, like at this point, I think I would much rather just like cuddle and kiss people. Um, like I will have sex. Like I have a joke that I'm trying to do about that right now, actually, where it's like yeah, I'll do sex, but that's just because you get more things when you do. It's not necessarily something I'm super passionate about at this moment, but it goes up and down for me.
Right,
So
right,
yeah.
right.
How about you? Do you have anything on your sexual bucket list?
Well, I do, but I'm like married and my husband's not on board.
Ah,
So yeah, I should have done that. Like I should. So that would be my advice to anyone who's like, you know, thinking about, getting married in the traditional sense and being monogamous. Make sure you do everything that you want to do. I did pretty much. I just have never been with a woman.
ever?
No, like
Oh,
I was in a threesome with another woman, but we didn't touch each other at all. So it was like, that doesn't really count.
yeah.
So I would have done that if I could have, but I made sure I did everything else. you know.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
To be
uh,
fair, I feel like it's much harder to approach women uh than it is men. At least like for me it is. Like there's a lot of people I find very attractive, but I would never talk to them because girls are scary. And I just think I think it's because I've attracted more men throughout my life that I just like know how to navigate that better.
right, that's kind of
Yeah.
easy, actually, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it is. I can see that because I wouldn't even know how to go about it. Like if I wanted,
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't even I have no idea. I guess I just never fell in the right hole. I mean, I shouldn't say hole, but you know,
Yeah.
I was never in the. I am so dumb. I never fell in the right hole. I guess if it's well, never mind. The right place at the right time, and I never really pursued it, but you know, but I can't imagine like propositioning or approaching a woman. I'd feel like so stupid. I think it's because of all the mean girl stuff that's happened to me in my life
Yeah.
that I would worry. I would worry more what a woman was thinking about my body than a man. How do you
I,
feel about that?
no, I get that. Like I definitely like the rejection from like girls and then women throughout my life has definitely had like a way bigger impact on me than being rejected from boys or men. And
Right.
so I do think that probably is a factor for me as well, where it's like I can't stand that kind of like rejection. It for whatever
Right.
it's like it hurts more for some reason.
But also, we're taught to hate our bodies.
That's true.
And so there might be some like self-hatred going on and all that, like I don't know. I don't like her because she reminds me of me. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I think about this kind of stuff way too much. So hmm. I'm actually a lot more fun in bed than it would appear by this conversation. So, yeah, what do you think about when you masturbate most of the time?
Oh man. Probably my college professor fucking me.
Oh, really?
It's not happened. It didn't happen, but
Think about it.
I always thought that would have been really hot. He
Uh-huh.
definitely knew I had a crush on him the entire time I was an undergrad, but he didn't do anything about it.
Well,
So good for him, I guess.
I guess, yeah, it's either ethical or boring, one or the other, or
Yeah.
both. Where can people find you if they want to find you? Like, what's your Instagram handle or?
Yeah, my Instagram is laura.lyons.e, and then my TikTok is comedian L Lyons.
All right.
Yep,
All right. Well, I'll see you on the social media then.
cool.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
That was a fun episode. I love Laura Lyons. If you ever get a chance, look at her. And thanks for stopping by and watching. Take action.